Collision in the night. The windshield wipers fought a losing battle against the Colorado blizzard as Veronica Hayes gripped the steering wheel with white knuckles. Ice crystals danced in her headlight beams like malevolent spirits, and the mountain road had become a treacherous ribbon of black ice. Just a few more miles, she whispered to herself, her breath forming small clouds in the frigid air. The rental car's heater had given up an hour ago, leaving her wrapped in her wool coat as she navigated the winding path away from her sister Natasha's memorial service. 3 months. 3 months since federal prosecutor Natasha Volkov had died in what police called a tragic parking garage accident. 3 months of unanswered questions eating at Veronica's investigative journalist instincts like acid. The deer appeared out of nowhere, its eyes reflecting her headlights like twin moons. Veronica yanked the wheel hard left, feeling the car slide sideways across the ice. Time slowed as she watched the guardrail approach, then disappear beneath her bumper. The world spun in a kaleidoscope of white and black before the sedan came to rest against a massive boulder, steam hissing from the crumpled hood. Blood trickled from a cut on her forehead as Veronica fumbled for her phone. No signal. Of course. She stumbled from the wreckage into knee-deep snow, her business suit and heels utterly inadequate for survival in this wilderness. That's when she saw it, warm golden light spilling from the windows of a cabin nestled among towering pines, like something from a winter fairy tale. Veronica staggered through the drifts, her teeth chattering uncontrollably. The door opened before she could knock. "Jesus!" a deep voice rumbled. "What happened?" Veronica looked up into eyes the color of midnight, set in a face that belonged in an action movie. The man was tall and powerfully built, with dark hair and a jagged scar running from his left ear to his collar. Something in his expression suggested he'd seen his share of violence. "Car accident," she managed through blue lips. "Phone's dead. I need—" The world tilted sideways, but strong arms caught her before she hit the porch. His touch sent unexpected warmth racing through her frozen limbs. "I've got you," he said, lifting her effortlessly. "You're safe now." As he carried her into the cabin's blessed warmth, Veronica caught sight of his hands. Scarred, calloused. The hands of someone who'd done more than write the novels visible on his bookshelf. "I'm Veronica," she whispered, as he settled her near the fireplace. "Marcus Kane." He pressed a warm cloth to her forehead, wound with surprising gentleness. "Though I have to admit, I've been expecting you." The words sent ice through her veins. "That had nothing to do with the storm outside." "What do you mean, expecting me?" Shadows of truth. Marcus Kane's jaw tightened as he met Veronica's suspicious gaze. The fire crackled between them, casting dancing shadows across his scarred features. "Your sister hired me 6 months ago," he said quietly, moving to a hidden panel behind the bookshelf. "I was her private security consultant, former Delta Force, now freelance protection services." Veronica's heart hammered. Natasha never mentioned she couldn't. Marcus pulled out a metal briefcase, his movements precise and controlled. The people she was investigating had eyes and ears everywhere. She was terrified they'd come after you if they knew you were connected. He opened the case, revealing surveillance photos, encrypted drives, and audio equipment. 3 days before she died, she gave me specific instructions. If anything happened to her, I was to find you, bring you here and show you this. Marcus activated a small recording device. Natasha's voice filled the room, clear and urgent. "Ronnie, if you're hearing this, I'm probably dead. The pharmaceutical company Meridian Corp has been conducting illegal human experiments on military veterans. They're using a classified compound called Serum X7 to enhance physical capabilities, but the side effects are catastrophic." Veronica's breath caught. "The pendant she gave me at the memorial contains encrypted files with all her evidence." Marcus pulled the silver necklace from her coat pocket. "She hid the access codes in the engraving, said you'd figure it out. You always were the smart one." As Veronica examined the pendant under a magnifying glass, she noticed tiny symbols etched between the decorative patterns. Her sister's birthday reversed. Her fingers trembling, she input the numbers into Marcus's laptop. Files exploded across the screen. Bank records, medical reports, military contracts. Dozens of veterans had volunteered for what they believed were routine PTSD treatments, only to become unwilling test subjects for experimental enhancement drugs. "My God," Veronica whispered, scrolling through photographs of men and women in military uniforms, their files stamped with red, deceased markers. "They're all dead." Marcus's expression darkened. "The survivors are worse off. Permanent neurological damage, psychotic episodes, organ failure. Meridian's been covering it up for years." And Natasha found out. The pieces clicked together with horrible clarity. She was building a federal case when they killed her. Marcus closed the laptop. The parking garage accident was a professional hit made to look random. Outside, the storm intensified, but Veronica felt a different kind of chill. "They know I survived the crash." Marcus nodded grimly. "Which means they'll be coming for us both. But first, we need to get this evidence to someone we can trust." As he moved to check the cabin's security systems, Veronica noticed the way he carried himself. Alert, controlled, dangerous. Her sister had chosen her protector well. "Marcus," she called softly. When he turned, she saw something vulnerable flash across his features. "Thank you for keeping your promise to her." "I failed her once," he said, his voice rough with emotion. "I won't fail you." The sincerity in his midnight eyes made her pulse quicken with something that had nothing to do with fear. The hunter becomes hunted. The satellite phone buzzed at 3 a.m., jolting Veronica from restless sleep on the cabin's couch. Marcus answered with military precision, his voice low and urgent. "Eleanor, talk to me. How many? When?" "Copy that." He ended the call and immediately began packing gear into tactical bags. "We need to move, now." "Who's Elena?" Veronica asked, pulling on her boots. "Former NSA analyst. She's been monitoring communications since Natasha died." Marcus handed her a bulletproof vest. 3 black SUVs just left Denver heading this direction. Professional hit team led by someone called Vincent Cross. As if summoned by his name, the distant sound of engines echoed through the mountain valley. Marcus extinguished the fire and activated what Veronica now realized was a sophisticated alarm system. "There's a tunnel in the basement that leads to a safe house 2 miles north," Marcus said, shouldering a rifle. "Elena's waiting there with transportation." They descended into the cabin's hidden sublevel, where Marcus revealed an escape route carved directly into the mountain rock. As they crawled through the narrow passage, Veronica heard the distant crash of the cabin door being breached. "Move faster," Marcus whispered, his hand on her back providing both comfort and urgency. 20 minutes later, they emerged into another small cabin where a petite woman with short black hair and intelligent eyes waited behind a bank of computer monitors. "Elena Ramirez," she said, not looking up from her screens. "And you must be the journalist who's about to get us all killed. Nice to meet you too," Veronica muttered. Elena's fingers flew across keyboards. "Vincent Cross is ex-CIA, now works for Meridian Corp's private security division. He's eliminated 17 people in the past 2 years, all connected to their illegal experiments. On the monitors, thermal imaging showed armed figures systematically searching Marcus's cabin." "They're good," Eleanor admitted. "But they don't know about this place." Marcus studied the surveillance feeds. "They'll figure out we escaped within the hour. We need to reach the evidence cache and get it to the FBI field office in Denver." "About that," Elena said grimly. "I've been digging deeper into Meridian Corp's connections. The conspiracy goes higher than we thought. FBI Director Morrison has been receiving payments from Meridian for 3 years. Veronica felt the blood drain from her face. "We can't trust law enforcement. There's one person we can trust," Eleanor continued. "Agent Rachel Torres, FBI Internal Affairs. She's been investigating corruption in Morrison's office." As dawn broke, over the mountains, they prepared to descend into the valley. Marcus checked his weapons, while Eleanor loaded encrypted drives with Natasha's evidence. "This is insane," Veronica said, watching Marcus strap on tactical gear. "We're 3 people against a corporation and corrupt federal officials." Marcus paused, meeting her eyes. "Your sister believed this was worth dying for. Those veterans deserved better than being guinea pigs for corporate profits." The intensity in his gaze made her heart race. Despite everything, despite the danger and fear, she found herself drawn to this scarred warrior who'd promised to protect her. "Then, let's finish what Natasha started," Veronica said. Elena grinned. "Now you're talking like a Hayes sister." Unveiled deceptions. The Meridian Corporation building gleamed like a steel and glass monument to corporate power in downtown Denver. From their position in the parking garage across the street, Veronica watched employees stream in and out, unaware that their company was built on murder and exploitation. "Morrison's in the building," Elena reported from her mobile command station in a modified van. Facial recognition confirmed he entered through the executive entrance an hour ago. Marcus adjusted his earpiece and checked his concealed weapons. "Remember, we need Morrison to confess on recording. Without his admission of guilt, a good lawyer will claim the financial records were fabricated." Veronica straightened her borrowed business suit, Elena's idea to help her blend in as a potential investor. "And if he tries to kill me instead of talking?" "That's why I'll be 20 feet away at all times," Marcus said, his eyes intense with protective determination. 3 days of planning had brought them to this moment. Elena had used her NSA contacts to create false investor credentials for Veronica, while Marcus posed as her security consultant, close enough to the truth to be believable. They entered Meridian's lobby, all marble and chrome and the illusion of respectability. Director James Morrison greeted them personally, a silver-haired man in his 60s with cold blue eyes and a politician's smile. "Ms. Chen," he said, using Veronica's cover identity. "Welcome to Meridian. I understand you're interested in our military medical research division." "Very interested," Veronica replied, her journalist instincts taking over. "Particularly your work with post-traumatic stress treatments." Something flickered in Morrison's expression. "Ah, yes, our veteran rehabilitation programs. Quite revolutionary, actually. Perhaps we could discuss this privately in my office." As they rode the elevator to the 30th floor, Marcus's presence beside her was both comforting and electrifying. Their eyes met in the polished steel doors, and she saw the same attraction she'd been fighting for days, reflected in his dark gaze. Morrison's office was a testament to power and paranoia. Bulletproof windows, multiple monitors displaying security, feeds, and what Veronica recognized as signal jammers. "No recordings in here," Morrison said pleasantly, settling behind his massive desk. "Corporate espionage concerns, you understand." Elena's voice crackled in Veronica's nearly invisible earpiece. "Jammers confirmed. You're on your own for audio." "Tell me about Serum X7, Veronica said directly. Morrison's smile never wavered. "I'm afraid I don't know what you mean." Veronica placed printed copies of Natasha's files on his desk. "These 43 veterans might disagree if they weren't all dead from your experiments." The pleasant mask finally slipped. Morrison's eyes turned arctic. "Natasha Volkov, I should have known she'd have a contingency plan. Your sister was remarkably thorough. You had her murdered. I had a problem eliminated." Morrison pressed a button on his desk. "Just as I'm about to eliminate her meddling sister." Security guards entered, but Marcus was already moving. 2 quick strikes dropped the first guard, while a perfectly executed throw sent the second crashing into Morrison's trophy case. "Vincent Cross sends his regards," Morrison snarled, pulling a gun from his desk drawer. He's quite eager to finish what he started on that mountain road. The car accident wasn't random, Veronica breathed. Nothing about this has been random. Morrison aimed the weapon at her heart. Your sister cost my company millions with her investigation. You're going to cost me nothing at all. Marcus stepped between them. She leaves. Now. Morrison laughed. The decorated war hero reduced to bodyguard work. How the mighty have fallen. Better than becoming a corporate executioner, Marcus replied, his voice deadly calm. Part 5. Love Conquers. All the standoff lasted seconds that felt like hours. Morrison's finger tightened on the trigger just as Elena's voice crackled through. The building's intercom system, FBI, this is Agent Rachel Torres. The building is surrounded. Morrison's eyes widened as he realized he'd been outmaneuvered. Elena had used the building's own security system against them, broadcasting everything that had happened in Morrison's office to FBI Internal Affairs. You think this ends with my arrest? Morrison snarled. Meridian has connections in every government agency. I'll be free within a week. Not with this evidence, Agent Torres announced, entering the office with a full tactical team. Rachel Torres was a stern-faced woman in her 40s, wearing a bulletproof vest and the expression of someone who'd spent years fighting corruption from within. Marcus lowered his hands slowly, keeping his movements non-threatening as FBI agents secured the scene. Agent Torres, the encrypted files contain bank records, medical reports, and recorded confessions, everything needed to prosecute not just Morrison, but his entire network. Elena had done her work perfectly. While Veronica confronted Morrison, she'd used his own security system to transmit evidence directly to Internal Affairs, bypassing the corrupted chain of command. James Morrison, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, wire fraud, and violations of the Geneva Convention regarding human experimentation, Agent Torres announced, her voice carrying the satisfaction of justice finally served as Morrison was led away in handcuffs. He turned back with venomous fury. This won't bring your sister back, Ms. Hayes, and it won't save those veterans who are still alive, still suffering from what we did to them. No, Veronica replied, her voice steady, despite the tears streaming down her face. But it will prevent you from hurting anyone else. 6 months later, Veronica stood on the steps of the federal courthouse as the jury delivered guilty verdicts against Morrison and 12 Meridian Corp executives. The pharmaceutical company had been dissolved, its assets used to establish a treatment fund for surviving veterans. Marcus appeared beside her, having testified as a key witness. His scarred hands were gentle as he wiped tears from her cheeks. Natasha would be proud, he said softly. She'd probably tell us to stop being dramatic and just kiss already, Veronica replied, remembering her sister's direct approach to life and love. Marcus laughed, the sound transforming his face entirely. Your sister was a smart woman. Their kiss was tender and fierce, born from shared danger and mutual respect. Around them, reporters captured the moment, the journalist and the protector who'd brought down a conspiracy and found love in the aftermath of tragedy. Elena approached. With a tablet displaying news headlines, Meridian Conspiracy Exposed, Veterans Receive Justice, Pharmaceutical Giant Falls. So, Elena asked with a grin, what's next for the dynamic duo? Marcus and Veronica exchanged glances. They'd discussed this during long nights planning Morrison's downfall, sharing dreams between discussions of evidence and escape routes. There are other stories that need telling, Veronica said, other conspiracies that need exposing, and other people who need protecting, Marcus added, his arm around her waist. They walked away from the courthouse together, partners in justice and love, ready to face whatever dangers awaited them. Natasha's sacrifice had not been in vain, and from tragedy had bloomed something beautiful and strong, a love forged in fire and tempered by truth.